Welcome back to Witch on the Holy Night. From where we left off last time, I know we did a quick episode. Not really much happened in that one, but today we're hopping right back from where we left off. Being said, I noticed something after logging off the other time. This, I guess, with a chapter in the episode. This page? I don't. What do you call a chapter inside a chapter? The elder sister returns. We've heard a bit about Alco's sister. I'm actually kind of excited to see what she's all about. So her sister was originally supposed to be like the witch of the family or whatever, but she ended up leaving, causing Alco to take up that role. So I want to see how this dynamic is going to work. Let's see how they introduce this character to us, if I'm not misconstruing the title, of course. Now, if I sound like I'm talking different or whatever, I probably will be talking a little different because I've been biting my cheek, nervous habit. I can't do nothing about it, I guess. So if you end up, hearing me slur a bit or whatever, that's why. But that being said, the sun sets early during winter, falling below the horizon by 4 in the afternoon. Evenings seem to arrive at the mansion earlier than in the city.
なるほど。君の生態はよくわかった。
Sojiro sat alone, sipping his warm tea in the chilly room. He relaxed on the couch, staring out the window, having had his fill of crocodiles. Once he sprawled out on the sofa, his body refused to move. Maybe he had always wanted to try it. After 3 straight hours of crocodile watching, he wondered what it would be like to laze there for the remainder of the day, as he nervously checked over his shoulder. Just as he was considering taking the opportunity to nap until Alco and Alice returned, an unfamiliar sound echoed through the halls of the mansion. Undergoing a sluggish evolution of his very own, he rose from all fours to being a bipedal. There was a knocking sound at regular intervals. The sound, distinctly coming from the front door, was more familiar now. He had experienced it before his days in the apartment.
新聞の勧誘か?
As he made for the foyer, Sojiro noted how impressed he was that they had hiked all the way up the hill. The sound resounded eerily. Without a doorbell of any kind, visitors had no choice but to ramp on the door, using whatever they had in hand. It would take an iron-clenched fist to produce that kind of sound. Don't tell me it's who I think it is. Hold on. Oh, I'm about to get so happy. Oh, I'm so ready for this. From his position in the hall, the front door looked like an ornately built fortification. The strong double doors looked as though they could withstand any onslaught of blows. They rattled in protest on the repeated knock. King. Try as this person might, it seemed no amount of enemy attack could breach this castle. But Sojiro, having experienced selling newspaper himself, announced himself.
はい、今開けます。
He knew what it was like to be there in their shoes, so was unsurprised by their unwillingness to surrender. Show me! What the hell? Oh, nah. Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. There stood the surprise. Second surprise today. Sojiro stood speechless and emotionless. The young woman hardly looked the part of a newspaper salesman, standing in the courtyard against the backdrop of the dusk horizon. She looked more suited to being a resident of the Western-style mansion, at least more so than Sojiro. Ooh, but she do look good. Okay, I'm telling you, Melty Blood ain't y'all. No excuse for Melty Blood. She looks normal, but she still looks stylish. She had a dainty frame, but a striking presence nonetheless. She was a little shorter than Sojiro, but tall for a woman. Don't tell me this is Alco's sister, right? No. Alco's sister can't be the villain. This is the villain, right? It has to be. Sojiro took one look at her. She looked back at him, and he felt his soul crack. Her light green clothing was delicate yet flashy, and clearly something out of the foreign fashion. Bold, but prim and proper. Though slightly loud, an appearance spoke of strength and confidence. The kind of woman not to be trifled with, that Sojiro knew all too well. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Unlike the ones he knew, this woman appeared more friendly than intimidating. Perhaps it was her short hair that made her look approachable. Bright and brown, it stopped just above the nape of her neck. Sojiro, yet to say a word, thought what a shame it was to be so short. She looked at him and offered a smile. Despite looking older than Sojiro, this made her appear impish and cute. Sojiro knew himself to be made of stronger stuff than to fall for cute smiles, and found it more than a little suspicious. At any rate, it was rude to stare for so long.
どちら様でしょうか
He asked shyly, steeling himself. To which she replied,
こんばんは。青子います？
No shot. No shot. Don't say it. She smiled as she used Alko's first name with a sense of familiarity. That's Alko's sister?
青崎はいないんです
Yo, come on, stop. She smiled again, this time deviously upon learning of Alko's absence. Okay. I love the art style in this game.
クオンジさんも留守なんだ。
There's no shot. I have to be mixing her up with someone else. Sojiro looked perplexed. This was the first time he had heard Alice referred to by her last name. Only and again, spoken with customary
そ
respect.
っか。夜ならともかく日中から二人で出かけるとは感心感心。形だけの雑居だろうと思ったけど、ちゃんとうまくいってるのね。
Sojiro found himself nodding in response to her smile. This is the girl that was at the gambling place, right? There's just no shot. Let me see. Can I spoil myself on the name real quick? Y'all mind? Y'all mind? Okay, no, I'm not gonna say it. Though it was clear she knew Alko and Alice, she was giving an uncomfortable feeling. Likely in her mid-20s, she did not appear that much older than he was. Behind her carefree tone and bright smile, she was clearly trying to hide
そ
something.
れじゃあ帰ってくるにしても夜？
はい終電前には帰ってくると思いますけど
そう。ところで君誰？
Sojiro, ever so troubled by her forwardness, wanted to ask her the same. Alas, who are you was a question far too difficult for Sojiro.
誰かと言われてもよくわからなくてとりあえず今は留守番してますけど実は青崎の友人なんです
A response with not an ounce of truth to it. The young woman's face lit up at what she believed was the boy's attempt to tease her.
へえ、面白いこと言うのね、君。名前はなんて言うの？
静木宗十郎というのですが
His shy answer made her giggle. Sojiro could not understand what he said that was so funny, but her laugh did not offend him. Rather than seeming derogatory, it came across as warm and I'm sorry, I did not read that word and just skipped it. Then, after finishing giggling, she looked him straight in the eye and gave him a soft look.
いや、気に入ったわ。宗十郎くんだっけ？君には合わない名前だけど、それも暗示的で素敵だし。じゃあ、そういうわけで、お茶でも入れてくれない？
あ、いや
She stepped past him into the mansion and swiftly left him at the door.
うわ、呆れた。
Oh my god, this is Alko's sister, for real. Hold on! Maybe she's not the villain. Maybe I misconstrued what I saw. Because on the PlayStation Store, I saw a few things, a few screenshots before I bought the game. Or the visual novel, if you will. And she definitely looked like she was a villain. And then the same thing with the gambling thing. She stared into Sojiro's soul. I don't know.
せっかくこっちに持ってきたんだから、悪いところはリフォームしたものと思ったけど、何も柱の歪みまで再現しなくてもいいのにね。
She said cheerfully, inspecting the foyer. Sojiro stood still at the entrance. The clicking of her heels on the wooden floor jumped around as she moved towards the drawing room.
どうしたの？こっちでしょ？今は。
She disappeared from the foyer into the drawing room, oddly familiar with the layout of the
青
house.
崎かアリス どっちかの先輩かな。
Sojiro muttered to himself, walking to the drawing room. Misclick, I promise. He entered to see the woman walking around the room gleefully, like a child seeing a park the first time in ages, breathing in nostalgia, twirling as girls are wont to do. What? Twirling as girls are known to do? I don't know. Won't.
よく見ればこのテレビって。
She stared at the television inquisitively, perhaps owing. How did I mess that up and not inquisitively, bruh? Owing to the fact that she had never seen a 30-inch television before. Awkwardly, the TV was still displaying images of the wild animal kingdom. Sojiro wished he would have stopped the video before she answered the door. Or he answered the door.
もし
He blurted out in an attempt to regain his composure. He had many questions, but first he resolved himself to, at the very least, ask her name. With that, she turned to him with a cold look on her face. She glared at Sojiro over her glasses, her long and slender brows pointing at him, as if to hint at a threat. A gaze that made him feel like he had chosen his words very poorly. Sojiro apologetically clammed up. The young woman moved in.
やだな、宗十郎くん。もしなんてかしこまって。私そんなおばさんに見える？
She snickered. Her disapproving glare melted into a teasing smile. Of course not. It would be more accurate to say she had the air of an older sister. Or at least this is how Sojiro attempted to reply using only gestures, to which she grinned smugly.
よろしい。ならそんな他人行儀の話し方はやめましょう。つまらないし、柄じゃないわ。
She said, taking a seat on the sofa, naturally and effortlessly, and without making a sound. Her posture and movements exuded sophistication, and she required no words to instruct him to hurry along and make the tea. Without pressing her further, Sojiro headed to the kitchen. He figured she would not talk until she had some tea. He chose to use He was forced to replace once before, after using it without permission. Since she was here to see Alko, he would serve her the tea in Alko's Saves teacup. Into the cup as blue as the ocean depths, he carefully poured the tea before returning it to the drawing room. Gently, he placed the teacup on the table and looked at the woman.
尋ねるのが遅れましたけど。
Why did they make it so easy to skip? I need a button bind.
尋ねるのが遅れましたけど、青崎の知り合いかな。
Despite being told otherwise, Sojiro could not help but stand on ceremony. He would actively have to try not to. Displeased or disappointed, she glared at him once more.
その青崎っていうのをやめてくれない？なんだかくすぐったくて。青子でいいでしょ？呼び方は。
She said, not at all upset, as she slowly raised the cup to her lips to take a sip. It was the kind of moment Alko and Alice might react to by berating the boy, but the woman chose to brush it off with a smile. Though he did not realize in that moment, he would soon enough understand that some people did not appreciate his efforts, regardless of whether they were misguided.
ほら、立ってないで座って。見下ろされるのは好きじゃないんだ、私。
Sojiro tilted his head, noticing a slight familiarity in the manner of her speaking, almost as if he had been talking to someone he had seen before. Yeah, wait a minute, huh? Looking at her sitting on the sofa, forgotten memories began to rise to the surface. Oh, noticing his reaction, she became visibly delighted.
思い出した？私もちょっと驚いたわ。
Oh shoot! The girl at the gambling
青子を
place.
訪ねに来たらいつか見た君が出迎えてくるんだから。
Now that she was laughing, Sojiro remembered everything. He had only seen her for an instant, but there was no mistaking it was her. It had to be her, the woman smoking a long cigarette, winning at the pachinko parlor. Cheating.
あの時は私もショックだったな。宗十郎くん、目が合うなりいきなり逃げ出したでしょ。そんなに私ってこわもてなのかしらって、あの日の晩は真剣に悩んだんだから。
She clearly enjoyed the memory. She was right. He mistook the shadow he had seen in the park for this woman and ran, though he had learned it was Alko a day later. Even though it was clearly a case of mistaken identity, he now knew why he had thought them one and the same.
そうか、雰囲気が似てるんだ。
Finally, he had realized the true identity of the woman before him. Stop using words like that, himself, for not realizing sooner.
それじゃあ、あなたは
Just as he was about to say it, she held up her hand to interrupt him. She pointed at him like she was aiming a gun.
ごめんなさい。君の仕草がちょっと可愛くてからかいが過ぎちゃった。自己紹介が遅れたけど、私は青崎東子。
It's her. This is her sister. All right, this story might go insane later if what happens, what I think is gonna happen happens. Toko Aozaki,
言う
godlike,
と、青子の実の姉ってわけね。
godlike. That figures. He should have known. With a smile that could impart courage to any that glanced upon it, Toko looked just like how Sojourner imagined Alko would in the not too distant future. It all made sense. While Alko was earnest and diligent, Toko was shrewd and playful.
あの子が困ってるって聞いてね。いい加減忠告してあげる気で、はるばるやってきたわけなのでした。
Alko's sister chuckled coyly while sipping her tea. Lured by her charm, Sojiro sat on the sofa as well. He felt like he could relax a little now that the initial shock of receiving an unexpected guest had subsided. Just like that, it was almost 5 in the afternoon. Alko and Alice would be returning from their excursion soon. This was Misaki City's only subway line. Only half a year had passed since its opening, and at the end of the barely new platform, there 2 girls stood. 2 witches, you mean? The time was 6:30 in the evening. They had been idling for around 20 minutes since returning from Arisaka, and had yet to return to street level. It's her. There was a hint of irritation in Alice's voice.
ちょっと待って。あともう一回だけ。ね。
Alko begged Alice, hands together, trembling from the cold. It was rare to see her act this childish. There was no doubt Tobimaro would consider this behavior more strange than cute if he were there. From the end of the platform, Alko peered into the creeping darkness to where the tracks led.
あなたの趣味変わってるわ。
Alice muttered, sitting on the bench with forbearance. Any other day, she would have been fine heading back by herself, but today she was in a good mood and decided to humor Alko. If possible, she would have liked to return still in good spirits, such as spells of positivity, for her at least, tended to dissipate sooner rather than later. Eyes calmly closed, her placid demeanor conveyed her feelings well enough. Thus, the 2 of them waited on the platform alone for the subway train they had no intention of riding. The recently opened subway, high prices and low familiarity rate. Wait, what? Made the relatively few passengers coming from Misaki City. Wait, what? Familiarity, okay. Thanks to the low foot traffic, the platform was still as good as new. There was something primitive about a subway devoid of people. It was a picture of tranquility, free of human interference, lifeless and silent. A land unmolested by living creatures, where only speechless organisms dwelt. The artificial fluorescent lights highlighted its soullessness. It was a cave where the light ended and the shadows began. riderless vessels disappearing into the dark. The platform wedged between two tracks, like a jetty stretching out into a subterranean sea of black. In this place, far removed from the world above, Akko waited with eyes closed for the familiar rumble. It was Akko who proposed that they delay their return and wait on the platform. The reason was simple. Akko Aozaki enjoyed the soothing sound of passing subway trains. Why are they playing this serious music and set all that up for that? This visual novel is a masterpiece. She said to Alice, her eyes still closed. Alice did not even nod as the 3 trains had already passed following her decision to stay with Akko. Silence again. Akko waited for the next train with anticipation. Alice sat and stared at the wall of the subway patiently. According to the display board, the next train was due to arrive in 5 minutes. From the dark tunnel came a wind of rumbling. A purposely placed bounded field now surrounded the platform. There was no sign of any station personnel, and entrances and exits were few and narrow. With the lack of bystanders, the field was hardly necessary. Suddenly, 6 figures appeared in front of the stairs leading to the surface, all sharing the same face. Motionless and with smiles like a crescent moon, they stared at Akko and Alice. My fair lady. Alice let out a quiet sigh.
どうかしたアリス。
どうも何も。この駅で降りたのはあなたと私だけなの。気づいていた。
そりゃあね、相変わらずここの地下鉄ってば利用客が少ないって。
Akko cut herself off by tooting in annoyance.
で、そういうアリスはいつ気がついたの？
憂鬱なことにたった今よ。青子ばかり責められないわね。あなたと私が一つならこんなこともなかったのに。
つまらない例え話は口にしない。
Never moving or making eye contact, their words still looking calm. In contrast, the figures near the stairs began to stir. They advanced in unison on all fours, as though regressed to a quadrupedal state, like human-sized ants. One after another, they swarmed forth. The din of clattering came not just from the platform entrances, but from the subway tunnel as well. Oh! At a glance, they numbered at least 30 strong. The creepy sound of skittering echoed off the subway rail. Can we explain Alice's mystic eyes? Did they already explain that? I need to see more of her mystic eyes. That is such an interesting concept.
信じられない。これだけの自動人形集めたらうちどころかフランスの一等地も買えるんじゃない？
Or do all mystic eyes work the same? Because I know in Tsukihime, what's his name? Tonoshiki has mystic eyes as well, and what his mystic eyes does is that he can see like death lines essentially. Like he knows how you're gonna die, or he sees multiple ways that you're gonna die, so he could like easily choose one way and have you killed. Whatever. But I know that's how his mystic eyes work. I don't know why he needs glasses for that. I guess it gets annoying, or like maybe his brain starts overloading when he sees all these possibilities. But like, do everyone's work like that? Because clearly Alice doesn't need glasses, right? I mean, of course she's probably way more masterful of it than he is, but yeah.
ええ。もっともこんな出来じゃ買い手は見つからないでしょうけど。
なんだ、ガラクタはガラクタか。
One of the horde leapt forward in response to Akko's insult. Look at how sharp that face is. I don't like it. It was a sudden charge, like a hurtling dump truck. Alice remained still. As though expecting the attack, Akko swung her right arm in an arc. Easy. The blue missile of light was easily repelled. Her magic bullet snap had little to no effect against the puppets. They scrambled over each other like frogs, heads jerking and twisting in search of prey.
全部で30か。悪いけど一人でやらせてもらうわよ、アリス。この前の実力と思われたままじゃ不愉快だ。
As she spoke to Alice, who was still standing next to the bench, Alco stepped toward the edge of the platform. From the myriad of regrets she still had from the amusement park, the House of Mirrors stung the most. She was caught off guard in the previous engagement with those puppets. With adequate preparation and confidence, and Alice's backup, she would not let that happen again. Igniting her magic crest, she would have revenge and be vindicated from.
私の後ろまで下がって青子。そこにいたらあなたまで食べてしまう。
It took Alice raising one finger to the sky for Akko to stop.
待って、アリス、それは。
In the depths of the ocean black, the bells of the night chimed out. The jetty, as if embraced by a sea of God, like Poseidon, or Wadatsumi, awash with white particles.
青子のやり方じゃ後が残るでしょう。もうじき次の電車も来るし、それに。
From beyond the white veil, her form blurred and stretched upward on tiptoes. Like a melancholy ballerina. The figures surrounding the perma ballerina bristled in response to the strange aura. Though puppets were inhuman mystical vessels, they had far more reason to fear. I've never seen far spelled like that. Huh. Fear Alice than they did the human Alco. They began to flee. Whoever their master was, they sensed enough danger to order a retreat. However, it was too late. The lead dancer in this ballet had them captivated, unable to move, as if their Achilles tendons had been severed. Well,
気分を台無しにされたのはあなただけじゃないわ。
she removed her black glove. Unlike her mansion demeanor, her cool aura morphed into a fierce, biting cold one, freezing all in their tracks. Gloves floated to the ground. The white haze grew even thicker. The mass of shadows cried out for mercy.
さあ、ごっこ遊びをしましょう。
With a dense, nebulous mist, a dark fairy tale mystified. From inside, the only thing seemingly real was the sound of her voice, a melody. Feasting, grinding, crunching. At last, the final puppet fell. On the walls, on the floor, on the ceiling. The tragic sounds of their demise filled the air. Their twisted shrieks plastering the subway surfaces, like in blood like stains. All 30 of the puppets, promptly yet slowly, as though to savor their taste, were completely devoured by the mystifying monster. All save one appendage and lonesome severed arm on the platform.
持ってきてたの、あれ。
Alco spoke sideways to Alice, making no attempt to hide her disgust. A beast of the fog. Persona 3? 4? My bad? One of her great three-ploy kickshaw. Why? Kickshaw. The Mindster Rose Hound. Wondersnatch. It was a name carrying immense violence and devastation. Alco's words stung, since Alice was the one harboring its true form. The great three ploys wielded terrifyingly powerful curses. It was one thing to carry it around for self-defense, but keeping it a secret from her companion did not amuse Alco in the slightest. It was like going out to eat with a grenade in your pocket.
まあ次からは一言お願いね。他のプロイならいいけど今のやつだけは別よ。できれば。
悪かったわ。でも最近何も食べさせてなかったから。
Alice walked slowly along toward the puppet arm rolling along the platform. What had just occurred made perfect sense. It needed to eat, so she let it eat. But the beast could not be seen. There was no bloodshed on account of the victims being made of plastic.
青子、ちょっと。
Alice said, picking up the puppet's arm.
これを見て。私たちは今まで相手を人形使いと思っていたけど、正確には違ったみたい。わかる？この人形たちは新しすぎる。この子たちが作られたのは17世紀以後よ。それはそれで信じがたいことだけど。
なんですって？
Though sounding contradictory, automata typically perform better with age. After the 17th century, as the magical concept of using puppets and mannequins declined, automata suitable for combat became harder to produce. In recent years of automata manufacturing, even low-rank familiars to be used in training could be produced inexpensively and with relatively decent quality. Therefore, it was common for modern puppet masters to collect parts made before the 17th century and use them in their creations. The high price for automata often came not from their combat abilities, but the rarity of the parts used to make them. However, the enemy mage controlling these puppets used them as fodder, as if they grew on trees. The only conclusion that could be made, therefore, was that their current opponent was a spoiled, rotten, upstart mage with no territory of their own to control. Or so Alice and Alco
それ
imagined
ともう
anyway.
一つ。この構造は三崎氏の結界に似ているわ。まるで自分たちこそがこの町を守る兵士だって主張するぐらい。
Alice presented the evidence to Alco, who was waving away the fog around her. She felt profound surprise and then rapid realization.
そういうことなのね。
Alco muttered to herself, violently hurling the arm against the platform. Her face twisted with anger and a hint of
惜し
fear.
げもなく骨董品を出してくると思ったら、そもそも出し惜しむほどのものじゃなかったわけか。ち、確かにあの女なら町の結界にも反応しないし、私の欠点も知ってて当然。視点の退去だって簡単にやってのけるわよね。
Oh man, she is the villain. No shot. No way, because like the puppet looked just like Alco too. Remember that? Alice quietly looked on at Alco's furious rambling. But is what? Okay, so I thought the lore was that she was already a witch, and then she decided I didn't want to be a witch anymore, and it wasn't just like, oh, you need to be a witch. She was like, nah, I'm out. But she already did the training, so maybe that's why her sister. I don't know.
これを作ったのは
I don't know. Toka?
昔から物を作ることに関しちゃずば抜けていたからね、あの人は。
Akko glared at the severed arm, furious at his creator and herself for taking so long to figure out it was her. Ooh! Oh, this is gonna be tough. So I'm sitting here thinking they had no like introductions for the villain or anything. Bro, they've been setting her up for a while now.
認めたくないけど、今回の敵は間違いなく私の姉貴。
This change is so... Why? Why? Is she... I don't know.
この土地の元継承者、青崎東子その。
Yes, but isn't she the one that left? Isn't she the one that left? And then if that's the case, why can't she just talk to her about it? Like, why can't we have a conversation? Why does someone need to die? The desolate subway platform turned into silence. Akko's words lingering uncomfortably in the air. Sheesh. A short time ago at the Koenji estate, the videotape finished playing. The VCR had automatically stopped playback, foregoing the need to hit the stop play button to avoid the static storm. What remained on screen was a reflection of Sojiro and Toko. I thought it was Toko Aozaki sitting opposite of each other in conversation. I was like Toko or Toka, I can't remember.
秘密を知られたから先制なしの直接攻撃ね。怪獣作を考えもしないのは青子らしいけど。
Oh, this is not good. It was hard to tell if she was being patronizing or indifferent. Toko Aozaki took a sip from her cup as she listened to Sojiro's story. She would have savored the anecdote about the music park kerfuffle if it were not for the poor excuse for a cup of tea in her hands.
参考になったわ。
Oh, nah. She already knew about that. She knew all about it, though. She set the puppet there. Oh, no. Oh, poor Sojiro.
それと一応肉親として謝っておかないとね。災難に付き合わせて悪かったわ、宗十郎くん。ほんと、あの子ったら昔から迷いってものがなかったから。
なさすぎると思います。
Oh man, Sojiro was enjoying the conversation despite having to relive those events. About an hour passed while the two of them sat in conversation, neither short on topics to discuss. Ako was an easy topic for both of them, so the conversation centered mostly around her.
ところで、さっきから気になってることがあるんだけど、聞いていいかな?
With courteous posture, her eyes shined with curiosity. Her elegant demeanor caused Sojiro's heart to beat faster.
気になってることですか?
Despite his caution, he could not help but show difference to her. Yeah, that's all. Whether Toko found Sojiro charming or not was unclear as she affectionately smiled at him.
ええ、一度目はダッシュで逃げられて驚いたけど、今日は違った意味で驚かされた。ね、そういうのが若い子たちの流行りなの？
はい。
Toko tilted her head, eyes fixated on the collar that Alco had given him, snugly wrapped around his neck. Ooh.
新手の超過？でもどこから見ても、ほら。
The bespeculated woman did her best to hold her tongue. On a completely unrelated note, in another decade, similar accessories would become a standard part of any visual kei artist wardrobe.
まさかどこから見ても首輪ですよ、犬用の。
やっぱり？けどその首輪すごく可愛いわ。よく似合ってるけど、自分でつけたの
？Toko stared intently, examining the strap. While he had never been very conscious of the collar until now, for some reason Sojiro found himself blushing.
つけたのは自分ですけど。
そうじゃなくて、誰からもらったの？青子？それともグオンジさん？
くれたのは青子ですね。
Toko simply nodded in satisfaction at Sojiro's candid response.
つまり、君は青子の持ち物なわけか。
That voice change. We're so screwed. She coldly muttered. With this, the atmosphere began to turn. Sojiro nodded, naturally oblivious to this thing in her work. Bro, when they come back, I know the menacing music is going to start. That piano and violin is going to hit. I know it. I'm predicting it now. There's going to be a new track, and it's going to sound so menacing.
何でも所有されてるそうです。
He said casually, causing Toko to burst out in laughter. Toko was a quirky type of person to laugh at the least appropriate. As her laugh tapered off into a giggle, she picked up her now empty teacup.
じゃあ、これも青子のでしょ？青っていう名前にコンプレックスがあるくせに、青いものが割と好きだから。
そうですけど、おかわりしますか？二人ともまだ帰ってきそうにありませんから。
いいえ、そろそろ帰ってくる頃よ。そういう風に
Oh
仕向けて
nah, that menacing music, bro. Sojiro casually nodded, still clueless to the premeditation of her visit. But then the strangeness of her phrasing dawned on him, and he tilted his head in confusion.
トウコさん、
Oh no, no! Oh, so scared. Toko sighed once in response. How did they? Oh my
ねえ
god!
16君、メガネ外しても
No, no, the mystic eyes! Bro, how did they build her up like this? Why am I so scared? He wondered why she would need to ask his approval, but nodded anyway to confirm his consent.
それじゃあお言葉に
No, no,
少し
no!
ぐらいは君の反応を見ていたかったけど
Please! Toko touched the temples of her glasses. If you were to look too close, you might have noticed her slender fingers were scarred. Small, fine scars from years of repetitive cuts. Instantly, her glasses fell off her face, resigned to their fateful fall. As it happened so fast, Sojiro barely understood what he saw. The frames now cracked into pieces as it slid down her face onto her lap. So screwed.
やるもんだ。30体を一瞬とはね。
Toko could sit behind her veneer no longer. What veneer? By removing her glasses, the elegant lady from moments ago was gone. Any semblance of warmth and kindness had disappeared. What sat on the sofa was one deplorable mage, her demeanor darkening the room. Sojiro sat speechless on the sofa. Ooh! Across him was a completely changed Toko, glaring back at him menacingly. More malice and magical energy was now emanating from Toko than when Algo tried to kill Sojiro. She sat tilted at the prospect of the young boy's shock and fear at her transformation. Such expectations, however, were often left unfulfilled when it came to Sojiro.
メガネ壊れましたね。
Sojiro blurted out in surprise. Her hand stopped as she reached for a cigarette, the wind taken out of her sails.
もったいない。大丈夫ですかそれ？
いや、そんなものはいいんだ。多少視力が落ちたところで大ごとにはならないし。そもそも私がある限り、五感による情報にすら主観が入る。すべてこの世は霧の中だ。もともと目に見えるだけのものは信じていないたちでね。
Nah, the art isn't ill. Tight moon. Oh my god, her speech had taken a clinical tone. This too did not seem to shake Sojiro.
そうですか。それでさっきの言葉の意味ですけど。
Sojiro began unflinchingly. Toko scowled back at him. Oh my god. After some consideration, she came to the conclusion she needed to be blunt with the boy. By some twist of fate, it was a headache she now unknowingly shared with her sister.
意味も何もない。青子たちの帰り道に多少の障害を置いただけだ。私がここにいる間は外で足止めをするように。君は青子の持ち物だと言ったな。ならことさら丁寧に教えてやる必要もない。告白してしまうとね、宗十郎君。私が君たちの敵なんだ。
Oh, she's fire! Though he understood her words, the clock's second hand would rotate fully twice over before anyone next spoke. They sat across from each other, eyes locked. Sojiro's shoulders tightened nervously. He had finally understood the danger of the situation.
驚いた。
Toko asked with a grin. Despite the spitting image of being the spitting image of each other, without her glasses, Toko's smile was rather
あ
sinister.
なたは青崎の姉なのに。
Her smile pierced him as he asked the obvious. Toko was no longer surprised that Sojiro would be more concerned about the safety of others over his own. It's just one short hour, she had came to understand Sojiro Suzuki better than he knew himself.
逆だよ。姉だから敵なんだ。 私には青子からあらゆる権利を奪う義務がある。物質的なものも精神的なものも、その全てを踏みにじらなければ気が済まない。尺度として言うなら、もし青子がこの町に頼っていたのなら、まず町から壊していたぐらい。けど君のことは予想外だった。
Toko, her eyes closed, felt sorrow. Behind her troubled expression, why do I suck at holding controllers? Okay, let's try that again. Behind her troubled expression, there was a silent conflict.
世の平等に起こるべきか、偶然の出会いとやらに嘆くべきか。これも抑止力というやつかな。無垢な部外者を手にかけるのは世の常だが、この手合いにあったのは初めてだ。いや、そもそもいるなどと考えたことすらなかったな。
Toko sighed at the ceiling and stirred in her seat. She seemed to have overcome an unexpected moment of uncertainty.
君は青子の切り札には見えない。排除しておくまでもない善良かつ無能な部外者だ。だから放っておきたいのだけど、私の六感がこう告げているんだ。君を逃がすな。いいからさっさと済ませてしまえ。と。
More plainly put, she had made up her mind to kill him. Though Sojiro was somewhat flattered at how she was grossly inflating his importance in all this, what dawned on him was the fact that through karmic irony, Toko had inevitably arrived at the same conclusion as her sister. However, this was no time for idle thoughts. Sojiro readied himself to stand up from the sofa in such a way as to not draw attention to the plain so clearly written all over his face. Make a run for it.
バカ者。こういう時は半端に動くな。逃げるならさっさと逃げる。交渉するならテコでも動くな。なんというか、そんな風に動かれると、その気がなくともつい反応してしまうだろう。ほら、命が惜しいのなら、おとなしく固まっていなさい。
殺さないんですか？
今のところはね。私は君が気に入ったし。
Tight move with the art!
違うな。正しくはこう。私ぐらいしか君を救ってあげられないのかも。かな。
はい。
She looked the perplexed Sojiro straight in the eyes. Though actually brown, her eyes gleamed like a piercing red, like the edge of a blade. Woo! It was at this moment an overwhelming sense of dizziness overcame Sojiro. His mind went numb, like he couldn't tell who he was, as if he was drifting to a sinister sleep from which he'd never wake. Sojiro clenched his jaw, desperate to maintain consciousness. Toko's eyes devoured him like a bottomless pit of quicksand. And in that moment, it all became clear to him. It no longer mattered if she was Ako's sister, or that she was Alice's sworn enemy. Toko Arazaki's deadly battle with the girls had become his battle. Which is why, when you find yourself feeling a special spark for a stranger met mere moments ago, that feeling is not to be trusted. For you may simply be attempting to fill the emptiness with the same mold as yours, with more emptiness. Sojiro tried to drag his body away from this unencountered sense of danger, but found that it would not respond. Toko tilted her head forward at him, fixated on his eye.
君の思う通り、私は君と似たところがある。それとも君が私に近いのかな。何？食べ物の好き嫌い程度の類似だが、軽視することでもない。問題は、君が私より偏っているということでね。
Sinister, man! Biased. She clearly used a different definition of the word than the one Sojiro knew. Biased. It meant that he was alone, that he was an outsider who didn't belong in this town. A sudden and seething anger eclipsed his gentle heart.
俺
Ooh.
一人じゃないですけど
Sojo shot back with all the enmity he could muster, as he faced this witch named Toko Aozaki. If he had not, he feared he would never escape her gaze.
だろうな。だからこそ君は偏っているんだ。早くそれに気づきなさい。人間なんてたくましいもんでね。別に何もかも放り投げてもうまくいくもの
That
なん
doesn't
だ。
say bias, does it? Does not say bias. Bias would end. It's like biased. Bias would end at the S. What the hell is biased? Biased? Bias? You're talking about definitions. I don't even know what the normal one is, bro. Please. Humans are hardly creatures. No matter what life throws at. Oh, she probably just said that, didn't she?
けれど、青子にはそれは許せない。あれは他人であれ、あらゆることを許さない人間だからな。
I'm an idiot. If it's biased, then it's biased. What am I talking about, man? It's definitely just 7 o'clock. No excuses. Toko leaned over the table. She reached out, grabbed Sujiro's collar, and roughly pulled him towards her.
いや、そんなことはいいんだ。ただ純粋に、私は君が欲しいと思った。君が自分の名前すら定かではないと名乗った時にね。自分の認識が不明で、自分自身が不能と感じる。未来というものがとても自分に関わりのあることとは思えない。となれば必然、心情は過去への逆行を試みる。しかし、所詮ソアの前のモアのように、正常な流れの前には時間旅行は押し戻されてしまう。それも私にあって君にあるものだ。ああ、なんて無様な私、なんて哀れな。
Toko trailed off mid-sentence. As she pulled Sojiro closer, her own eyes reflected in his. She noticed the merciful expression on her face. Sojiro got to thinking. He had no hostility towards this woman. He bore in her no grudge, harbored no desire to kill her. He was aware only of his anger and aimless compassion. He wished that he could give her the answer she wanted, but
あなたの言っていることはよくわからない
Sojiro replied apologetically, a verbal reply to the visible question he perceived in her eyes. Toko showed no sign of disappointment. Instead, the corner of her lips turned upward in delight.
そうか。君には言葉の暗示は通じないんだな。意味深なセリフ回しで丸飲みにしてやろうとも思ったが、いや失敗。小綺麗な建前は逆効果だった。君にはむき出しの原始的な語りの方が良かったんだな。いいよ。ますます気に入った。
Her fingers dug into his throat, as if she were tearing at the leather. I'm reading what I want to read. Perhaps he could be hers, if only she could rip it off.
少年、青子なぞより私のもとに来い。使い道はないが保護ぐらいはしてやろう。手が空いた時なら気晴らしに愛してやってもいい。
Guys, it was 1980. It was a different time, guys. Come on. You gotta give Carter some slack. It was a different time. He had taken many approaches, but she seemed to have decided on this one. The lengths to which she would to seduce him were not all lost on Sojiro. And truth be told, they were not wholly welcome. Unwelcome, wow. But back to the matter at hand.
お断りします
Respectfully. Sojiro chose the direct response as he did.
なぜ？
だってあなたのためにならない
He had confidence in that, at least. Toko's overestimation of him aside, Sojiro knew for a fact that he had to escape this woman's clutches. This tete-a-tete could only be concluded by one of its two participants, Toko or the individual she was currently infatuated with. On a hunch, the boy mustered all the conviction he could feign. She gently removed her hand from his collar and jabbed him in the chest, causing him to topple back onto the sofa.
そうか。なら仕方がない。君も青子の大切な持ち物として考えることにしよう。
The scarred red mage quietly stood up.
青子が帰ってくる頃だから私は行くよ。青子では私には勝てないとだけ伝えておいてくれればいい。
それはいいんですけど。
Sojiro's reply from the sofa stopped the exiting Toko in her tracks. Then, like a student humbly inquiring of a teacher, Sojiro pointed to the object in Toko's hands and asked,
そのカップどうするんです？
Surprised, she looked down at the teacup in her right hand that she had forgotten she was holding. She hadn't even realized that she'd been holding the teacup the entire time.
これ？うん。せっかくだからもらっていく。
The act of taking something without the owner's permission is commonly referred to as theft. However, this was more likely the typical relationship between Alko and Toko. Share and share alike, and so forth. Sojiro nodded to show that he understood. Unsure if his nod was sincere or not, Toko smiled that gleefully grin for the second time she was taking off her glasses.
やはり変わり種だね、君は。有罪かどうかは別の話だが。
For just a moment, she had returned to the affable Toko Aozaki he had met before the glasses came off. Leaving him with the image of her smile, she departed the mansion. Her broken glasses remained sitting on the drawing room table. No sooner than the eerie visitor left did Alko and Alice return home. Despite Alko's sour mood, she seemed as merry as ever. Do we end this episode at the end of the chapter? I feel like we got such a big fill, but I feel like we can't keep doing hour episodes. We have to hit that 2-hour mark because this series is going to last forever if we don't. I don't even feel like we're halfway through the story. I feel like the story just began. Like we're less than a third through. Like we're a quarter through. Like I don't know. I feel like we haven't even started. Like honestly, despite everything that had happened, and their trip having its fair share of problems, she still had fun, whereas Alice was her usual stoic self. With a form not unlike a parent following behind a ravaging toddler, cleaning up their messes. The scene of their return was like something out of a TV sitcom, and lost in thought, Sojiro forgot to greet them.
Sojiro, 留守中何かあった?
Did anything happen? Alko asked, more out of etiquette than curiosity, while removing her coat. Without answering, he stood up from the sofa.
そりゃ半日分の出来事はあったけど。
This dude's insane.
それより寒かっただろう。お茶を入れようか。
ああ、お願い。こっちも一から作戦練り上げようってとこだから。
Sojiro was on his way to the kitchen to prepare tea even before Alko had finished her upbeat response.
なんだろう。どこか変だ。
He was following his same tea brewing routine as always, but somehow, something did not feel the same. As though in a trance, Sojiro returned to the drawing room, where they were settling down and placed tea on the table.
これからどうするつもりなの?
Oh, he don't remember.
とりあえず足で探すしかないわね。あいつ相手に守りに入るのは良くない。こっちが城壁を作ってる間に一個師団の人形をこさえかねないわ。
They conversed with each other while ignoring Sojiro's presence. Upon hearing that, they said. He stood up and spoke abruptly.
探すって、トウコさん。
Yo! Yo! Oh, this is nuts. I like this.
誰を探すって?
Oh, I like this.
ちょっと。あんた、今なんて言ったの?
トウコさんなんだろ、青崎たちの敵は。
Oh, I like this. I like this. He answered so casually, Alko standing there dumbfounded. Alice stood up from the sofa and went to where the two of them were standing. Her typically kind and somber features turned reproachable.
しずきくん、その人、何かしていった。
お茶を飲んでメガネを外して帰っていっただけだけど、あれ、よく思い出せないな。
I knew it. What was once a clear memory seemed to have been scrubbed clean from his mind. Soju was overcome by the same dizziness he felt before. Ooh! A sharp, dry smack echoed through the room. What snapped him out of his haze was an unexpected slap from Alice.
二度は言わないわ。他人を私の家に立ち入らせないで。
Oh! I like this! We better go crazy! Oh, Alice is my favorite. Deep within her eyes, beyond the normal cold indifference, was an intense fury. Realizing, however, that it was no ordinary anger, Sojo understood how careless he had been. Never let anyone into my house. Ugh. You think I'd be mad? You think I'd be mad she just slapped Sojo? Sojo deserved it. Bro needs discipline.
すまない。アリスにとってここが大事な場所なのは。
And look at that, he understood. Oh my god, this is crazy. This is crazy. Heavy silence followed. Both Sojo and Alice stood there, chained to their spot by their own regret. Aoko looked on in amazement, wondering if they would stay like this all night if left alone.
あのね、姉貴を通した宗十郎も悪いけど、言ってなかったアリスも悪いでしょ。子供じゃないんだから、いつまでも反省してないで、もっと前向きに話をしない？
Alice hung her head and sat back at Aoko's insistence. Sojiro stood where he was, nursing his stinging right cheek. Pain was pain, but he knew how to take a knock. More to the point, the crisp strike from Alice snapped him out of his fog, jogging his
思い
memory.
出した。青子じゃ私には勝てないって伝えておいてほしいって。
大した自信ね。他には？
他は基本的に世間話だったというか、あ、ソアとかモアとかよくわからないことを口にしてたな。
Considering the small talk was mostly about Aoko and her flaws, Sojiro decided it would be better to take that part to his grave.
大河とショーガ？あの人、インドにでも行ってたのかしら。ところで宗十郎、あんた、姉貴に何かされたわね。
Aoko turned to him, glaring at him sharply. He had nothing to be ashamed of, but he looked away guiltily.
何かって何さ？
思い出せないとか言ってたでしょ？さっきまでの態度もふわふわしてたし。そうか。メガネを外したまでは覚えてたってことは、魔眼にでも見られたか。
She got the mystic eyes too. Everyone got mystic eyes, bro. I just noticed Aoko's eyes are blue and hers were brown. As quickly as she had jumped to that conclusion, Aoko went quiet again, as if the information was of little importance. I like how she's still calm and collected after knowing her sister infiltrated. I like Aoko. This is going to be such a fire dynamic, I could tell. But it was not enough to distract Sojiro from bringing it up again. Detract.
青崎、魔眼って何？
Yes! Sojiro asking the right questions.
魔力を帯びた目のことよ。簡単なものは一時的な混乱を、上級なものは睨んだだけで相手を殺すとかね。
That wasn't what I was hoping to hear. Are you born with mystic eyes? Or can you train mystic eyes? Like again, back to the Shiki Tono one from Tsukihime or Melty Blood. He can see like lines of death, basically predict how you're going to die. And in knowing that, he knows your next move or what he needs to do in order to get you killed. It's like, that's an overpowered ability. Like, did he spawn in with that, or is that something he trained? Knowing Tono Shiki, I guess, and not knowing Nanya and all that, because I know Nanya is Tono Shiki, like his real version of him, or like his true, like pure instinct, like what he really wants, right? Like, did he build that skill up? Did he make that? Did he infuse his own eyes with magic, or was that something he was born with, right? Because the Tonoshiki I know probably wouldn't have done that. Like from what I know, right? I don't know much about the Tsukihime verse besides, of course, Witch on the Holy Night. But yeah, I don't know. Especially because Aoko Aozaki, as you see, she was the one that ended up giving him the glasses and helping him learn how to use the mystic eyes. So yeah, was he born with it, or is that something you train? Do you infuse it with magical energy? Like I don't know.
バロールみたいな魔眼の持ち主なんて伝説だけだろうし、そもそもそんな魔眼持ちが生まれてくるなら、私たちの悩みもあっさり終わるってものだけど。
Without further context, Ako knew her explanation was completely lost on Sojiro.
そうね。
Can we get an extra chapter on mystic eyes? I would actually read
わかり
that.
やすく言うと、私の魔眼みたいなのを目から照射するようなもんよ。
But your magical bullet is something you've trained and you've made. Are the mystic eyes something you have from birth? Or is it something you gain? Is it inherited? Like, does someone give them, like a Sharingan, take it out your eyeball and give it to someone else? Like, I don't know. Why does Alice only have one mystic eye? Why does Tonoshiki have two? Why does Toko have two? Toko, whatever. Why does Toko have two? Oh, wait, Toko didn't have two. She only had one, right? I can't remember. I think she had two. Why does Alice only have one? Like, these are answers I need. These are answers I must have in order to understand how overpowered mystic eyes are. Sojo's confusion deepened along with Ako's frustration.
だから、あなた、一度目を閉じた後のトウコの目を見たんでしょ？その一瞬で姉貴の魔眼に捕まったってこと。目を猫名詞に入れ替える魔術師もいるけど、姉貴はそんなことする必要はないから。
Okay. I see. So, you... Again, that doesn't really answer the question, though, because that's like saying Gonzo, right? He wasn't born with a Sharingan. He took a bunch of people's Sharingan. So, saying that you can replace your eyes with a mystic eye doesn't necessarily change whether you were born with them or if you work for them or if you build your own. Like, I don't understand. How do mystic eyes work? Like, okay, can everyone have mystic eyes? Because then I'm like, okay, I thought Shiki or Tonoshiki was important. Like, I thought he was crazy, like, important or, like, you know, one of a kind. If not, like, if I don't understand. Okay, there we go. Okay. So you're born with them. That's good to know. That's cool. That makes it more interesting and how they all have different abilities. That I liked it. I'm ready for Tsukihime. Give me Tsukihime. I'm ready. I like that. So mystic eyes are something you're born with. It's magic infused in your eye, but it's like specific magic for each different person. From what I've seen, Alice can deflect things. I believe is what she did with her mystic eye. I can't remember if she attacked with it or not. I don't think she did. I think she attacks with her poise, of course. So Alice's is she can deflect things from what I've seen. Toko's is I take your memory or whatever, I guess. Or I put you into a hazy feeling, or was that when she punched his chest? I can't remember. And then you have Tonoshiki, who's not in this visual novel, who you guys most likely don't know, but he is from the Tsukihime universe. Actually, that's Aoko's disciple in the future. But yeah, he can see into the future, basically. Screw all that kill line stuff. It doesn't make no sense, all right? But whatever. Sojiro pounded his fist in understanding. Now he thought about it. He vaguely remembered her doing something exactly like that. Everything after was foggy and muddled, and her mystic eyes seemed the only logical cause. I don't know. I still want to hear Alice's ability. Dang, I was so interested in this mystic eye stuff. Like, I want to know more. Like, I need an extra book on that. Please archive. Because I want to hear about Alice's mystic eyes too, because I don't know how hers work. And she only has one. Why does she only have one? Did she steal it? Is she a robber? Is she committing theft?
青崎のお姉さんなんだろ。なんで姉妹で殺し合いをしてるんだ。
He knew it was not something he should ask, but he did it anyway. The question was against the rules. He had no business being involved in this dispute. Ako closed her eyes to collect her thoughts. She decided it was best for all involved to at least share some background information. if only to head off further
いいわ、
questions.
話してあ
Heed, my
げる。
bad.
姉貴に関わった以上、事情を説明しておかないと危ないし。けど、なんであれ聞き返すのはなしね。この件に関しては、私は私の事情を話すだけだから。
She stared down Sojiro until he nodded slowly in recognition. Knowing him, she knew this was a confirmation enough. The conversation was becoming oddly friendly again, but Ako sat up a little straighter as she prepared to tell the tale.
姉貴の話をするってことは、私と青崎の家の話と、何より魔術と魔法の話をしないといけない。少し遠回りになるし、多言無用な内容だけど、いずれあんたの記憶は消えるから問題ないってことで。
Ako made sure to add that disclaimer as a condition for telling him the information in the first place.
魔術っていうのはね、宗十郎、いわば共通のルールなのよ。ルーンやカバラといった魔術系統はそれぞれの科目、世界共通のマニュアルだと思えばいい。教科書さえきちんと持っているのなら、あとは血脈次第で誰でも魔術師にはなれるわ。けど魔法を使うのは別。魔法は魔術みたいに根源の渦から派生した写本じゃなくて、根源の渦に直接つながるものだから。この根源の渦っていうのは、宗十郎の分かるレベルに落とし込むと、まあ太陽みたいなものと考えて。遠くにあって何より初めにあるもので、それなくしては私たちは生活できないと言った。魔術っていうのはこの太陽からの恩恵を利用しただけのものよ。自然現象の模倣ないし代償が魔術の本質だから。神秘を学び実践し再現するけど、神秘そのものを作ることはできない。いえ、研究の末にたどり着くんでしょうけど、そこには大きな壁がある。人知では越えられないリミッターみたいな壁がね。で、魔法っていうのは太陽そのものを扱うこと。誰にも到達できない場所に行って、何者にも真似できない奇跡を起こす。お金をかけようが時間をかけようが、今の人類には到達できない技術、それが魔法。次元の壁を越えるっていうか、最後まで走ってみたら全く違うルールでできた世界があって、そのルールを学んじゃったってとこかしら。前に魔術に限界はないって言ったでしょ。あれは人知の及ぶ範囲なら限界はないって意味ね。対して魔法は限界だらけっていうか、一つのことしかできないけど、それも当然なの。だってこの宇宙の仕組みから仲間外れの一つっきりの交点なんだから。
魔術より魔法の方がすごいというのは流れ的にわかるんだけど、限界だらけなんだよな。
限界っていうか、特例、特権、越権の類ね。汎用性はないけど、誰にもできないことを可能とする時点で魔術世界にとっては万能とされる。そもそも魔法は根源の渦にたどり着いた魔術師へのご褒美みたいなもので、たとえその術者に魔法を使うだけの肉体性能がなくても、根源へのパスができただけで魔術的にはやりたい放題ってわけ。要は地球で一番のお金持ちになるってこと。
Sojiro made an appreciative sound, impressed. I knew Alice was hating the whole thing. On the other hand, Alice looked as though she wished to make any revisions to Alco's account.
一番の大金持ちか。じゃあどんなにお金持ちでも一番目でない以上は魔法はもらえないんだな。
まあそういうこと。時々とんでもない角度で確信をつくわね、こいつ。あんたの言う通り、同じルート同じ方法で根源にたどり着いても、一番目じゃないと魔法にはたどり着けない。どんなに優れていても2番目以降には意味がないのよ。 魔法使いが5人、いえ4人か。
I'm sorry, Melty Blood stuff is getting in my head, bro, with Alco.
現存する魔法使いが4人しかいないのは、一度使われたルートは閉ざされてしまうから。
Why did she slip up and say 5 though? Like they did that on purpose. This is a story. She's not human. I'm sorry. They planted that on purpose. Why did she say 5? No 4. Why would she say 5 at first? Now I'm confused. Is she already one of the magicians? Hold on, man.
大昔はそうでもなかったって話だけどね。根源への道、真理への到達に壁を作ったのは皮肉なことに人間自身だった。未知を解明すればするほどルートが閉じていくなんて昔の魔術師たちは思いもしなかったんでしょう。でも結果はこの通り。気がついた時には後の祭りっていうか、多くの研鑽の末、この世から魔法は消えていっちゃったわけ。
Martha, if y'all know, y'all know.
それは山と町の関係に似てると思っていいのかな。
ミクロな視点で言うなら似たようなものよ。で、つい最近まで現代の魔術師たちは残された最後の席を求めていたけど、それもちょっと前にどこぞの田舎者が横取りしちゃって、椅子取りゲームはあえなく終了。あとは魔法抜きで根源にたどり着くため、地味で無意味な魔術の研究を続けることになった。もともと魔法なんてのを優先してたのは一部の魔術師だけで、他の真っ当な連中はとっくに見切りをつけてたんだけどね。だって魔術師にとって最終目的は根源の渦への到達であって魔法じゃないし、そのあたりいつの間にかごっちゃになっちゃったんでしょ。卵が先か鶏が先かって話。
よし、全くわからないってことは分かったんで、そろそろ本題に入ってくれ。あ、けど一番目の人間しか魔法使いになれないのに、魔法使いは何人も。
Different types of magic, duh. Or maybe one of them dies.
5人いたわ。最終的に人間に残される最後の課題は5つだろうって一番初めの。
That's why she slipped up. Okay.
青子。
Ooh, no, you don't get to do that, Alice. You don't get to do that. Please.
じゃあ本題ね。魔法と魔術の関係が分かったところで、ようやくうちの話になるんだけど、青崎の家が代々魔術師だったのは前に言ったでしょ。歴史的には浅いけど、運と才能には恵まれていたのね。青崎はなんだかんだって魔法にまでたどり着いたんだから。
ちょっと待った。じゃあ青崎がその。
私はあくまで魔術師見習い。使えないし使う気もないわよ、魔法なんて。私はただ青崎の家を継いだだけだもの。
Alco asserted obtusely, her voice devoid of emotion. She became a mage not to wield magic, but simply because the succession of her family's magecraft was forced on her.
とにかく
Then why is her sister trying to kill her? Like, I don't... Why? If her sister was supposed to do it and then dipped, why is she back now to take her rightful place? Like, what are you doing?
根源の渦にたどり着くには何代も何代も魔術を研究しなくちゃいけない。自分独自の川を作るようなものなんだから、もちろんその過程は果てがない。よほどの天賦か典型でもない限り魔法を作るなんてできないしね。そしてもし根源にたどり着いてもふさわしい後継者がいなければ一代限りの奇跡で終わってしまう。だから魔術師は血脈を重ねて代々の魔力を時代に積み重ねていく。自分より優れた後継者を生むために。
Alco wrapped up the explanation by remarking that it was like producing a thoroughbred. What? Not that Sojiro knew what, I don't know what it is either, leaving him just as perplexed at the end of the story as he was at the beginning.
そうやって代を重ねて魔術師は作り上げた独自の神秘、守り続けた魔術を 次の世代に伝えていくの。きっと最後の最後に全ての疑問を打ち消すに足る答えがあるはずだって。でも魔術師、いえ魔法使いだってみんな悟ってるのよ。
I almost thought I slipped up for a second. I was like, was I recording without audio? Because I accidentally plugged out my mic, and whenever I do that, it like sometimes some audios like I guess NVIDIA, GeForce, whatever, it switches my mic to a different mic. I don't know what I have for some reason on my computer I have like 50 different mics and like 80 different audio like my TV or my headphones like that. I have like 80 different versions of those. I don't know why, but yeah. So I was just making sure we're good. We're like an hour 23 in. We're good. Everything's been solid. Hope the audio is good. Hope you're enjoying your day. Hope you got a cup of tea next to you. Of course, we're watching Which on the Holy Night you should have tea. Isn't that like a must?
自分の代でもその次の代でもきっと最後の最後の最後まで誰もゴールにはたどり着けないって結末を。それを分かっていながら魔術を研究していくのが神秘学に取り憑かれた者の宿命だって祖父はよく口にしてた。けど私の姉はそうじゃなかったみたい。
She left. I can see why. Hanging in the air. Alice had no response. The Awazaki family passing down true magic. Alko, the reluctant successor, and Toko Awazaki, her elder
本
sister.
当は青崎の後継者は姉貴だった。私もうちの家業が何であるかは教えられてきたけど実践することはなかったのよ。魔術師の家系はよっぽど裕福でもない限り基本的に一子相伝だからね。うちほんと財力的には一般家庭レベルだし。で後継者にはより魔術に適したものが選ばれるわけだけど姉貴は確かに天才だった。けどそれは青崎の後継者にはいらない才能だった。その代わり私は心底青崎の後継者
So it wasn't by choice. I see.
それはそれでどうも思わないけど祖父がはっきりと私にくら替えしたのが15歳の冬の頃でさ。姉貴はいきなり4つ年下で今まで魔術に関わってなかった妹に魔法の相続権利を奪われたってわけよ。
They created a villain, bro. Oh, why did you have to make her kind of like redeemable? Why did you have to make her sister redeemable?
そうか。それで
She said that she was obligated to take what was Alko's. Toko's words were from not moments ago, her voice full of resentment as she spoke them.
あの人がどんな思いをしたか私は本人じゃないから知らないけど祖父と言い争って今まで愛用してたメガネを叩き壊して家を出て行ったのが3年と半年前。それから全く消息なしで私は姉の代わりになったの。これが私と姉貴の争う原因でしょうね。
Sojo thought the story was tragic, but Ako's voice had a tone of relief in it. Sojo did not know exactly who he should feel bad for anymore. I know,
メガネ
right?
を壊したか。
そうあの人昔はすっごく目が良かった。生まれながら魔眼を持ってたって化け物だからね。けど祖父の期待に応えようとして無理して頑張った挙句視力が下がっちゃったみたい。
The glasses! Hold on! Aqua wrestled with the memory, not sure if she had anything down exactly right. Sojiro knew how well Alko could hide her emotions. This was not one of those moments.
けどあれに何の意味があったんだろう。メガネをジジイに叩きつけるぐらいならフィンの一撃でも叩き込めばよかったのに。あの人あの頃が才能のピークだったんだし猛録したジジイなんてそれこそ一撃だったと思うんだけど。
Sojo shook his head, disappointed at Alko's misjudgment of the situation.
恨みつらみの話じゃない。そのメガネは大事なものだったんだ。だってそれは誰にだってわかる努力の証なんだから。それを叩きつけたんだ。痛かったんだろうな、トウコさんは。思い出を自分で壊さなくちゃいけないぐらいに。
As Sojiro spoke, neither Alice nor Alco, why'd I do that? Noticing grief he was fighting to hold in. Or more accurately, they could not understand his point of view. After all, in a world where mages were raised to fight other mages, empathy was in short supply.
けどどうして今頃になって戻ってきたのかしら。青子の言う通り、東子さんならもっと早く美咲氏を奪えたのに。
そうね。そんなに土地が欲しかったのなら3年前に私を殺せば後継者に戻れたのに。世間の荒波に揉まれて気が変わったとか？
違う。青崎は本当にわからないのか。
Sojiro shook with a feint of anger. His voice changed from the boy they thought they knew.
何よ、あんたならわかるっていうの？
誰だってわかる。東子さんは青崎が一人前になるまで待っていたんだ。自分が失ったものと同じくらい大切なものをなくさせるために。そうしないとどうにもならない。そこまでしなくちゃいけないほどあの人の怒りは深かったんだ。
Sojiro gazed at them, wondering why they could not see what he could. Only he was the one that did not understand. The two girls, and above all Toko Aozaki, denied themselves the type of relationships that normal people were allowed to experience. Toko's actions were not fueled by hatred. While there certainly was hatred behind them, the real reason was always, and has always been, Toko's pursuit of true magic. She was an ambitious and talented mage. Her hatred was only her veneer. Thinking of her in any other way would be an insult to the elder sister, who devoted her life to the study of magecraft. All of this, Alko wanted to tell Sojiro, but instead stopped herself. Even if she had, Sojiro was not a mage and could never understand. And besides, arguing with him any further would not have brought her any joy. She could not have put into words, even if she had tried. And so,
やけに姉貴の肩を持つじゃない、宗十郎。もしかして一目惚れでもした？
in her own cowardly way, Alko dodged the subject. She smirked childishly.
肩ぐらい持つ。あの人はかわいそうな人だからな。
Sojiro did not take the bait. Alko was frustrated at his reply.
なぜ？
An icy glare replaced her smile. He did not falter, only plainly stating,
だって実の妹と争わなくちゃいけないんだろ。それはかわいそうなことじゃないのか。
this was the source of his frustration.
確かにね。
Alko's eyes narrowed unconsciously, as if hiding from a painful truth. This guy is a poison, she thought to herself. A poison with no antidote. With his words, he was unwittingly bringing her weakness to light.
だけど私も姉貴もそれを何とも思ってないのよ。だってそれ以外に解決策はないんだから。
Sojiro looked down and frowned in defeat. And that's sad too, he muttered. The curtain of night had already fallen. Not even an hour passed since Toko had left the estate, and Sojiro was feeling the distance between him and the girls. Alko and Alice felt much the same way about Toko Aozaki, who seemed more elusive than a phantom.
とにかく姉貴が敵だってことは宗十郎にも分かったでしょ。ならつべこべ言わず君子危うきに近寄らずよ。まあ姉貴もあんたと会って私たちとは全くの無関係だって分かっただろうから、そっちには手を出してこないでしょうけど。
Alko seemed absolutely certain in her assessment, as if to proclaim that Sojiro had dodged a bullet. Strangely, she was placing her trust in her enemy's sense of reason.
そうかな。そうなのかな。そうだといいんだけどな。
そうだから安心なさい。昔からいらないものには手を出さないんだから、あの人は。
そっか。 青崎がそこまで言うなら安心する。あ、いらないものって言えば、瞳子さんが青崎のティーカップをもらうって、セーブルのやつ。
ちょっと待って、あんたそれを黙って見てたっていうの？
そうだけど、やっぱりあれは奪っていったのか。
Sojiro nodded sagely, while Alko fumed. She wondered where his serious manner and tone had gone. Sojiro's frustrating absent-mindedness had returned.
しかもセーブルのカップって私の一番のお気に入り。
Akko's fist trembled violently, but as much as she wanted to, she knew better than to plant it into Sojiro's carefree face. Not that he was even capable, but even if Sojiro did try to stop Toko, it would have gone tragically for him.
仕方ないか。そういえばあの人、よく私の持ち物を奪っていったっけ。他人のものを欲しがる癖、まだ治ってないんだ。
ん？子供の頃はみんなそうなんじゃないのか？
He wondered aloud, curiously.
そうかな。私のクレヨンとか人形とか取っても仕方ないと思うけど、どうせ粉々にしちゃうんだし。
Taking somebody's crayons? Maybe she is the villain. Maybe she deserves no empathy or sympathy. Sojiro felt his heart jump into his mouth. The ominous foreshadowing was not lost on
それ
him.
はどういう？
だから、あの人って私の持ち物を横取りしてはぶっ壊すのが趣味なのよ。苦節14年。姉貴に目をつけられて無事だったものなんて一つもないもの。
Evil! Listening to Alko, Sojiro recalled his conversation with Toko. He hoped he was imagining it, but he vaguely recalled her declaring Sojiro Suzuki as someone's property.
それはちょっと難儀だな。
Sojiro's face turned grim, not unlike the detective at the scene of a crime. She wanted to take him and break him. A scene which left no traces of evidence or clues as to how the case could be solved.
でしょ？ひどい姉貴なのよ、あの人って。
Unaware of Sojiro's turmoil, Alko calmly sipped her tea. Sojiro watched as Alko shrugged her shoulders before looking over to the drawing room clock. No matter how heavy the mood, time kept ticking on.
明日から大変になるね。
Muttered the undeniable victim of today's injustices. Alko looked ready to move on from the incident, adding,
そうね。でも今は、そんなことより今日の夕飯のが楽しみなんだ、私。
Alice seemed to second that opinion with her silence. Comfortable and relaxed, neither of them seemed to have any intention of leaving the sofa to prepare food. Tonight was supposed to be his night off from work. Off from work, sorry. At least until midnight. But Sojiro knew until the clock struck midnight, he would be serving on hand and foot the two ladies of the house. For one, it would take at least another hour to prepare something to eat, and there was no way the exhausted Alko and Alice would stand for that. So the only other option in the end was to have something delivered.
なんと、瞳子さんについていけばよかったかもしれないな。俺。
Sorry. Sojiro opened his wallet as he second-guessed the situation. His eyes settled on the third and final 10,000 yen bill in his wallet. It stared back at him, forlornly, reluctant to leave his home. With a heavy heart, he bid it farewell. The sister returns! Yes! And we will continue on in the next episode of Witch on the Holy Night. That is how you introduce a villain. Holy crap. There was already a little setup to her. You hearing about Alko's sister. That was so smart. I was wondering, like, how come we haven't seen the villain or anything like that? With the puppet looking like Alko, that daunting puppet being so strong and everything. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. Wow. I was hoping maybe we can get an extra on Mystic Eyes, but it doesn't seem we got anything in the archive, right? Oh, we did. Oh, we did. Oh, no. No, this is chapter 9. Okay. This is chapter 9. What? A portrait of Aozaki's? Did we read that? We didn't get that yet, right? What is this? Still Wonderful World deploys. We didn't. A portrait of. Do we read this really fast? We have time. We have time. Or is this what we already read? I think we already read this. This is what we. Okay, this is what we already read. I was about to say. Hold on. Okay, this is what we already read, right? Okay. I was about to say, hold on, because we're about to get crazy, but I'm sorry for the clickbait. The video is ending. So I was hoping for something on Mystic Eyes. I'm really into the whole Mystic Eye thing right now. That it sounds so insane. Oh my God, look how far we've come from this moment. How far we have come from the first introduction of our characters. Holy crap. Yo, we have been moving. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series as much as I've been enjoying making it. This is so, I'm glad this is like the one consistent thing I'm doing on the channel. It is so fun reading this visual novel. I don't know how you guys enjoy it as much as you do with how much support it gets, but yeah, that's it for today, man. What an exciting episode. I mean, I was expecting that after seeing, like, because when I stopped recording the last episode, I had left and put a bookmark and it said the elder sister returns or whatever it said, and I'm just like, oh, next episode gonna go crazy. And they delivered. The art style, the music, even though it's the same music we listened to, it's just keyed perfectly. The dialogue, her breaking her glasses, just being such a menace, and then her leaving, taking the teacup, and that's all she left besides, you know, her broken glasses. Insane. And I understand where Sojiro is coming from. It's interesting. Again, that's why I think the dynamic is so interesting, because Aoko and Toko, or at least Aoko doesn't see Toko seeing it as, okay, we're sisters, our feud is this. It's more that Toko sees it as, I'm a magician and my magician stuff is being taken away from me, nothing personal, and I have to get it back. Aoko is thinking she doesn't think it's personal, but at the same time, it sounded very personal. It sounded very personal, so I might be on Suzuki's side with that argument, but I'm holding you guys for too long. I'm sorry. It was just very exciting. You know, I like talking about these things, of course. That's what we're here for, you know, discussing this type of stuff. I like this, man. I told you I like it. I like Alice's slap and everything. Insane. Don't you ever let anyone into my house again. That was crazy. But yeah, unfortunately, we have to end it here. I think it's better for pacing. And yeah, Youth Presentona, remember, there's no such thing as hard. Just how long you willing to fight. See you guys in the next episode.